On this week's episode, the number one coin you need to own before 2019.
Get a little bit more excited about that.
Okay.
It's the number one.
Okay. The number one
Hey, what?
The number one coin you need to own before 2019. Coming up next on Crypto Unqualified. What? Alright, so Benjamin, today I want to talk about the top 10 cat coins and where they're at right now and where I think they could be before the end of the year. So this is speaking on conservative terms. If, let's say, institutional money comes into the market or the conservative investor comes into the market, they're most likely going to probably buy, some of the top 10 coins in terms of market cap. And so here, that's what we have, the top 10 coins in terms of market cap, with Bitcoin, of course, being at the top, and Tron rolling out the bottom at number 10.
If there's, for people who don't know, what is a market cap?
Market capitalization, it's how much money that coin is worth in, probably I guess it'd be USD.
So it's total investment?
Total investment, total amount of money invested.
Okay.
Would be the market capitalization,
okay.
The market cap. So for instance, right now the current market cap for Bitcoin is 142 billion. That's how much money there is in Bitcoin right now.
Okay.
Ethereum has got 47 billion.
That's a huge gap.
A huge gap. And Ripple's 18 billion, Bitcoin Cash 14 billion, EOS 7.5 billion, Stellar 6 billion, Cardano 4.7 billion, Litecoin 4.3 billion, Dash 2.3 billion, and Tron 2 billion. This represents how much each one of these has lost in this bear market in the last 6 months.
So compared to what the price was 6 months ago,
yes,
that number is where it's at now.
Exactly. Yep. This is how much each coin has lost in the last 6 months. You can see Cardano's lost 72%. And, my opinion on that is Cardano, out of all of these coins here, it's still, as far as something that's working, I would say it's the farthest behind out of all these. It has a test net, but doesn't have a main net that's launched yet.
Right. So it's lost 72%, but it's still in the top 10 for market cap. I mean,
Still in the top 10.
That's a pretty strong signal just on its own.
Well, there's 31 billion of them too. So.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, there's 31 billion.
Cardano.
Yeah, let me check that, but yeah, 31 billion. 31 billion Cardano. And
So it's just by sheer numbers.
Honestly, I think it's just because, Charles Hoskinson, co-founder of Ethereum, with Vitalik, he's headed the operation for Cardano. Otherwise it might even be further down, but there's definitely coins that have lost more than Cardano, but as far as the top 10 is concerned, Cardano has lost 72%.
Yeah.
And I think, until they have a mainnet that's launched, I don't know why they wouldn't keep trailing behind.
Yeah.
I guess that's my point with this whole thing. Out of all these top 10 coins, like which ones are being used right now? Which ones have the most value, right? Not speculative value, but the most value, like as of right now.
Right.
So, we know Ethereum obviously has all of the dApps. It has a lot of the ICOs launched on it. Up until this point, at least, now there's ICOs launching on other blockchains, but and then which one to use? Is there one to you that stands out that just doesn't belong here at all?
I don't like Ripple, period, but it's got the third highest market cap. You can't qualify that as not belonging. I don't care who you are. It belongs there.
Yeah.
Tron Tron's an easy target because I think their operation is shady. That's just my bias. They've got a $2 billion market cap, and like we were talking about, it's a lot of that is due to really, really good marketing.
Well, and Tron has 65 billion circulating supply.
Yeah.
I think they're trading right now at almost 4 cents.
Yeah.
So, Tron recently launched their mainnet, and they just acquired BitTorrent. And you're familiar with BitTorrent. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
What is BitTorrent exactly?
I've heard it's a service kind of like LimeWire or Napster used to be, file sharing. You can torrent a file and download it. I've looked into it for educational purposes.
Is that like dark webbish type stuff then?
No.
No. I mean,
It's basically, so if you've got, with BitTorrent, if you've got a file that you want to share legally, you can create a torrent of that file and people can download the torrent.
Okay.
It's, there's a whole series of episodes, I'm sure, that we could go into on how torrenting works. Just Google it. But yeah, it's a file sharing protocol, torrenting.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I don't know how you can be decentralized and acquire something. I think we were just talking about that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you'd ever hear of Bitcoin acquiring, I don't know, Instagram. It just sounds funny.
It's like saying the internet just bought AOL or the internet just bought Time Warner.
Yeah.
It doesn't. That's not how it works.
So
So you're saying that the fact that Tron was able to acquire BitTorrent is a signal that it's not decentralized? What's your...
to me, yeah. I mean, to me, when I think of somebody acquiring something, I think of a company acquiring another company. If you're supposedly decentralized, I mean, how do you acquire an entity if you're not really an entity yourself?
Yeah, if you're a decentralized
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Tron I know they're trying to be a decentralized entertainment blockchain, but I think they've got a lot of shady news around them. And I think as far as between now and the end of the year goes, 2019, I would say Tron is the least likely to go 10 times. And that's what I made this chart for, is which one of these coins has the best chance of going 10 times before the end of the year.
And you don't think...
Multiplying by 10 before the end of the year.
Right. So a price increase.
Price increase of 10 times by the end of the year. So,
So tell me, which one?
well, I mean, I thought we'd start at which one's least likely.
All right.
And then
Well, that's my that would be my... God, I mean, if we're gonna play those two sides of the coin, which one is least likely to 10 times in the next year? I wouldn't count Tron out. I don't know what that would have to put their market cap at for them to 10 times.
20 billion.
20 billion.
20 billion, which would put them just above where Ripple is right now at 18 billion.
I mean, the marketing's good. I don't think
So-
they can. With that much supply, I don't think they can get there.
And I would agree. And I think coming up next, I would say would be Cardano, just because their mainnet's not supposed to launch till September, and we've seen with VeChain and Tron lately, and even EOS, launching a mainnet doesn't automatically plunge you into the cloud. If
No.
anything, it can pull you back.
To sell the news opportunity.
So I think, Tron and Cardano, would have the least likely chance of going 10 times. And I would follow that up with either Ethereum or Litecoin. Which one do you think out of those two would have the least likely chance of going 10 times before the end of the year?
I mean, Ethereum, just because it can't scale.
That's what I would agree with you. I mean, for Ethereum to go 10 times, its market cap would be 468 billion, which is roughly 3 times what Bitcoin is right now.
And that's assuming that other faster, scalable solutions don't eat its lunch before then.
Right.
So
I mean,
okay.
we've got we've got EOS this launch. EOS is doing over 2,000 transactions a block, confirmed, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, I know.
2,000, no, over 2,000 transactions per second.
Per second, excuse me, yeah, per second. I know we've got VeChain that's launching. We've got Zillicut that's launching in the next 2 months.
So F's out.
I think F is out. I think it's not realistic for Ethereum to have a market cap of 468 billion before the end of the year. For one, it's never even been close to that.
Yeah.
So,
And it's got obstacles to overcome.
and so next I would say probably Litecoin for me.
Okay.
Only because Litecoin was basically supposed to be a faster version of Bitcoin, correct?
Yeah.
A cheaper, faster version of Bitcoin.
I suppose so. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody really knows what problems Litecoin's trying to solve.
Right.
They were a clone of the Bitcoin protocol.
And if Bitcoin, if the Lightning Network becomes a function for Bitcoin, I just don't see the relevance of Litecoin.
Okay.
I also feel like when Charlie Lee sold all his Litecoin, that it really was a negative impact on Litecoin. It's kind of like the leaders pulling all the stuff out. Why? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, every entrepreneur has to have an exit. I mean, it definitely signals, or it could signal, a lack of faith in the product. But on the same token, Dan Larimer's pulled out of Steam and BitShares to move on to other things. I don't know that he's sold any stakes that he's got in those technologies. But as an entrepreneur who's building a product or a service, your end game should be the exit.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to take profit at some point, and I don't fault him for doing it. But again, I don't know what good Litecoin is doing to advance, the crypto space.
And he sold it at the peak.
Because he's smart.
I mean, so I'm just going to say, for the purposes of going 10 times by the end of the year, I'm going to say Litecoin does not have a chance to increase their market cap to 43 billion, which would basically be where Ethereum's market cap is right now.
Let's do a lightning round and get down to what you think the last top 3 possibilities are.
Well, I'm going to
because I don't want us to go too long. We're already at 17 minutes.
Okay, the next one I'm going to cross out is going to be Ripple, because Ripple is being sued right now. It could turn out to be a security. I just don't see, with all that legal stuff going on right now, even if it finishes by the end of the year, I just don't see that going 10 times and having a market cap of 180 billion.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Sure.
Whatever.
I don't
Okay.
like Ripple. Fuck Ripple.
Yeah. Next, I would say would be Bitcoin Cash. I don't think anybody but Roger Ver has an idea of what Bitcoin Cash is going to do or the void it's supposed to fill. I don't believe it's being used right now more than Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
And I think it's as much speculation as any coin out there, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cross that one out. And maybe it's going to be great, but will it go 10 times by the end of the year to $140 billion market cap, which is where Bitcoin is right now? I mean, maybe if Bitcoin goes 10 times to 1.4 trillion, but I don't think that's going to happen by the end of the year. So I'm going to cross that out. The other one I'm going to cross out next is actually Bitcoin, just because I don't see Bitcoin going 10 times by the end of the year to 1.4 trillion. I don't think the ETF is going to be functioning by the end of the year, even if it might be approved by the end of the year. But I don't think you're going to see all of the institutional money come into that potential ETF by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Will it go 10 times to 1.4 trillion? I absolutely believe that. I just don't think
At some point.
I just don't think it'll happen before 2019. So I'm going to cross Bitcoin off.
Buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin. The next is going to have to be Dash. I think Dash is good. I think Dash is great. It's lost 68% of its value in the last 6 months. It's going to have to gain that back and then some to go 10 times to 23 billion. So I'm not nothing against Dash. I just don't think I haven't seen anything or read anything that tells me that it's gonna get there.
Okay.
You agree?
Sure.
Disagree?
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Dash other than it is a privacy centric technology.
Right.
That's really all I know.
I think
about
everybody agrees it's a good coin, no doubt about that, and probably it will obviously do this 10 times and probably more in the future, but I just don't think it's going to do it before the end of the year.
Dash. Okay.
Which leaves us to EOS and Stellar Lumens.
EOS.
And quite honestly, I do think these both could go 10 times by the end of the year. As you know, the creator of EOS Block 1, they just had billions of dollars pumped into them, billions of more investment money pumped into them.
Was it billions?
Yes, it was. And I don't know what that was for. I don't think anybody knows exactly what it's for. It's kind of a secret. Be nice to know.
Yeah.
EOS, I think, is going to be great.
I think it's got a really strong potential. It's just a question mark if they can pull their shit together. The block producers regarding the RAM, getting dApps to actually build on the platform, and all that kind of stuff. It's got so much potential.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be best of the best.
Possibly.
And it could potentially do it. It could go 10 times by the end of the year. But I think, right now it's getting some airdrops. I don't think there's wallets that aren't solidified out there. I think there's still a big question mark about where to put your EOS. I've got a question mark about it.
Yeah, or even how to create an account if you don't already have EOS.
Or which dApps that are being launched on it. Like, what are they going to do? I think it's going to be great. I just don't think it's going to be great in 6 months.
Right.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm going to cross it off anyways.
Your number one pick.
My number one pick to go 10 times by 2019 is Stellar Lumens.
That surprises me.
And the reason why I picked Stellar Lumens to be the coin to go 10 times is just simply because of this. Its partnership.
What is 1BM?
IBM. IBM. Stellar is partnered with IBM. IBM is going to be using Stellar's blockchain. And I don't know any other coins that are affiliated with in the top 10 with IBM.
That would be like the equivalent of Apple saying they're going to start using Doge. I mean, that's a big deal.
Stellar's been around. It's established. It's fast.
Yeah. And it was an airdrop. It wasn't like it wasn't an ICO.
Right.
That to me is more of a signal of a bit more integrity on the part of the people creating it. They have so much faith in it that they said, we're just going to give it away because we want people to use it. This thing is going to go someplace.
Well, and their partnership with IBM, I mean, this started back in 2017. They started talking together, and they just, hashed this out, in the recent months. That's another reason why Stellar, I think, has jumped up. But it's not the only reason why I think Stellar is going to go 10 times. But the other one is that Stellar is one of the 5 coins that Coinbase has said they want to list. So if Stellar, gets on Coinbase, partnership with IBM,
it's already in the top 10.
It's already in the top 10 for market cap. It's already lost 50%. If Stellar was to go 10 times, its market cap would be 60 billion. It would only be just a little over Ethereum, where Ethereum's at right now.
Yeah.
It's not unfathomable to me. So there you have it. Stellar Lumens.